effort and outcome are inseparable, because what you put into your life will always reflect in what you get out of it. Too many people hope for extraordinary results while giving only ordinary effort. They want success without sacrifice, growth without struggle, and rewards without hard work. But the life does not work that way. If you give little, you will get less. If you give halfway, your results will show it. The outcome is always a mirror of your effort. That is why excuses are so destructive. They justify a lack of effort and make you believe you deserve results you never truly worked for. Results are never accidental. They are earned through sweat, sacrifice, and relentless commitment. The harder you push, the more consistent you are, the more energy and focus you invest, the greater your results will be. When you study people who achieve greatness, you see a pattern. They outwork, outlast, and outfocus everyone else. They are not necessarily the most talented or the most gifted, but they refuse to give anything less than their full effort. Every day they make deposits of discipline and persistence, and over time those deposits accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. They understand that results are not owed to them but created by them. This mindset eliminates entitlement and replaces it with responsibility. They don't ask, "Why didn't I get what I want?" They ask, "Did I give everything I had to earn it?" That self-check is what separates achievers from excuse makers. Effort is not only about working harder, it's about working smarter. You can put in countless hours, but if your focus is scattered or your energy is wasted on distractions, the outcome will reflect that inefficiency. True effort requires intentionality. It means putting your time, energy, and focus toward actions that move you closer to your goals and doing it consistently. Excuses often show up as false priorities. "I didn't have time," or "I was too tired." But the reality is that you always have time and energy for the things you value most. If results matter to you, you will direct your effort toward them, regardless of the obstacles. What makes effort pounding effect? One workout may not transform your body, but months of consistent effort will. One day of focus may not build a business, but years of sustained effort will. Small actions, multiplied by consistent effort, eventually create massive outcomes. And once you understand this principle, excuses lose their power. You stop expecting instant gratification, and you start valuing the process of giving your best every day, knowing that results are building in the background. At the end of it all, results never lie. They will always reveal the truth of your effort. If you don't like the results you have today, it's not a reason to make excuses. It's a reason to raise your effort, put in more, demand more of yourself, and stay consistent. Because in the end, your effort is your investment, and your outcome is the return. And like any investment, you only get back what you put in. Excuses always focus on what's wrong, but results come from focusing on what's possible. When you live in an excuse-driven mindset, you spend your time listing obstacles, problems, and limitations. You say things like, "I don't have the resources, I don't know the right people, or the timing isn't right." All of these statements may feel true in the moment, but they trap you in a cycle of negativity that leads nowhere. Problems will always exist. There will never be a time in your life when every single condition is perfect. If you wait for problems to disappear before you take action, you will spend your entire life waiting. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. Successful people see the same problems but choose to focus on solutions instead of excuses. They don't ignore challenges, but they refuse to let challenges stop them. When you shift your focus from problems to solutions, you train your mind to look for possibilities rather than barriers. This change in perspective transforms how you approach life. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," you begin asking, "How can I create the resources to make this happen?" Instead of saying, "I don't have time," you ask, "What can I adjust or sacrifice to make time?" Every problem you face comes with a possible solution, but you will only see it if you train your mind to look beyond the obstacle. Excuses blind you, but solutions empower you. This is why some people with less education, fewer connections, or limited money still rise to extraordinary success. They have mastered the ability to focus on what they can do rather than what they can't. Problem-focused thinking also drains energy. The more you talk about why something can't be done, the less energy you have to actually try. Solution-focused thinking, however, creates momentum. Each time you find a way forward, no matter how small, you gain confidence, fuels action, and action creates results. Over time, this builds a habit of resilience. You no longer crumble when obstacles show up because you expect them, and you know you are capable of finding a way through. That mindset becomes a powerful force. Instead of problems discouraging you, they begin to sharpen you. They become opportunities to prove your creativity, your persistence, and your strength. At the end of the day, problems are unavoidable, but excuses are optional. You cannot control every obstacle that appears and control whether you allow it to stop you or drive you forward. Results belong to those who choose to look for answers when others only see difficulties. Life will test you. It will throw challenges at you, but each one carries a solution hidden within it. The question is, will you spend your time making excuses about the problem, or will you dedicate your energy to finding the solution? Those who choose solutions create progress, and progress is what leads to results. The moment you stop seeing problems as reasons to quit and start seeing them as reasons to innovate, you separate yourself from the crowd and step into a life where excuses no longer control your destiny. Excuses are almost always born out of fear, failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort, or even fear of success itself. Doubt creeps in and convinces you that you're not ready, not capable, or not deserving. Instead of confronting that fear, many people choose the easier path of making excuses. They tell themselves they don't have enough time, money, or support. They convince themselves that the opportunity will come again, that it's safer to wait, or that someone else is better suited for the challenge. But in reality, these excuses are nothing more than masks fear wears to keep you from stepping into your potential. The problem is that every time you give in to fear and choose an excuse, you strengthen that cycle. The more excuses you make, the more powerless you feel, and the more doubt controls your decisions. But the truth is, fear and doubt are not meant to stop you. They are meant to test you. They are signals that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is exactly where growth happens. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means acting despite it. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not those who feel no fear, but those who face it head-on and refuse to let it dictate their actions. They understand that failure is not something to avoid, but something to learn from. Doubt says, "Oh, what if you fall?" But courage answers, "Oh, what if I fly?" That mindset shift is what transforms excuses into opportunities for growth. Every breakthrough in life comes on the other side of fear. When you stop making excuses and confront your doubts with action, you begin to build confidence. Each step you take forward, no matter how small, proves to your mind that you are capable. That proof silences doubt, and over time, your confidence grows stronger than your fear. The key is to move anyway. Take the first step even when you don't feel ready. The longer you wait, the stronger excuses become, and the harder it is to escape their grip. But the moment you take action, even imperfect action, you weaken fear's hold on you. Progress, not perfection, is what builds courage. When you commit to overcoming fear and doubt, excuses no longer control your life. You start to see challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities to demonstrate resilience. Fear transforms from an enemy into a motivator, pushing you to rise higher. Doubt shifts from a limitation into a reminder to prepare and grow. And once you've experienced the power of stepping through fear, you realize that excuses are nothing but wasted potential. Results don't belong to the fearless. They belong to the courageous. The ones who do it scared, the ones who silence excuses with action. At the end of the day, fear will whisper lies, but courage will speak the truth, that you are capable of more than you ever imagined if only you refuse to let excuses decide your future. Discipline and consistency are the twin engines that drive every form of lasting success. Talent may give you a head start, motivation may get you moving, but without discipline and consistency, you will never reach the finish line. The problem with excuses is that they destroy discipline. They give you an easy way out when things get tough, and they convince you that tomorrow will always be a better time to start. But tomorrow is never promised, and waiting for the right moment is simply procrastination in disguise. The truth is, results come to those who are willing to do what is necessary, even when they don't feel like it. Discipline means showing up no matter how you feel, and consistency means doing it again and again until results appear. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Think about the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders in history. They didn't achieve greatness because they were always motivated or always in the mood to work. They achieved greatness because they were disciplined enough to put in the work every single day, even when it was inconvenient, uncomfortable, or exhausting. Excuses would have given them a reason to stop, but discipline pushed them forward. Consistency turns small, seemingly insignificant daily actions into extraordinary results. Just as a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence, success comes to those who keep showing up day after day, even when progress feels invisible. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you set a goal and follow through, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. That self-trust becomes the foundation of confidence. On the other hand, every time you make an excuse and break a promise to yourself, you weaken that trust, and over time, it erodes your belief in what you can accomplish. Consistency is what strengthens that inner belief. It teaches you that results may not come overnight, but they will come if you stay committed long enough. Small efforts, repeated daily, compound into massive achievements. Missing one day may not ruin you, but making excuses repeatedly will create a pattern of failure that becomes harder to break. The beauty of discipline and consistency is that they don't depend on external factors. You don't need perfect circumstances, endless resources, or even constant motivation. You just need the will to keep going. Discipline makes sure you start, and consistency ensures you never stop. Together, they silence excuses and replace them with results. When you master these two principles, you realize that success isn't about extraordinary moments of effort, but about ordinary actions done extraordinarily well over time. And when results finally arrive, you'll look back and realize it wasn't luck, it wasn't chance, it was discipline and consistency that carried you to victory. Without them, excuses win. With them, results become inevitable. Accountability is the bridge between wanting results and actually achieving them. Too often, people fall into the trap of blaming everything around them for their lack of progress, the economy, their boss, their family, or even bad luck. But the truth is, as long as you keep pointing fingers, you will never gain control of your life. Excuses might feel comforting in the moment because they take the responsibility off your shoulders, but they also take away your power to change. When you accept full accountability for your actions, you are no longer waiting on someone else to create your success. You take ownership of both your failures and your victories. That shift in perspective is life-changing. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You begin asking, what can I do about it? That single change transforms you from a victim of life into a leader of your own path. The most successful people in any field are not the ones who had the smoothest journey. They are the ones who took accountability at every step. They didn't wait for perfect conditions, and they didn't allow failures to define them. They understood that progress comes from facing reality, not running from it. If you're not in shape, it's not the gym's fault, it's because you didn't show up consistently. If your business is failing, it's not the market's fault, it's because you didn't adapt or execute effectively. If your relationships are broken, it's not only the other person's fault, it's also about how you communicated, acted, or didn't act. Accountability is not about blaming yourself for everything. It's about recognizing your role and taking responsibility for changing it. Excuses, on the other hand, rob you of growth. Every time you make one, you build a wall between yourself and your potential. That wall gets higher with each excuse until one day you're stuck behind it, unable to climb out. Accountability tears down that wall, brick by brick, and opens a path toward growth. The moment you stop making excuses, you start learning. You begin to see every failure as feedback, every mistake as a lesson, and every challenge as an opportunity. This is why accountability is empowering. It forces you to confront the truth is the only thing that can set you free to improve. When you live with accountability, people notice. They respect you because you are honest enough to own your actions and strong enough to face consequences without excuses. More importantly, you begin to respect yourself because deep down you know you are no longer hiding behind lies. That self-respect fuels confidence, and that confidence fuels results. Accountability demands courage, but it also produces power. So if you want results, stop looking for excuses and start looking in the mirror. Take ownership of your journey, because until you do, results will remain out of reach. The day you embrace accountability is the day you unlock the true potential that excuses have been hiding from you. Success in life does not begin with money, connections, or even perfect circumstances. It begins with mindset. The way you think, the way you perceive challenges, and the way you choose to respond to situations will ultimately determine how far you go. Some people are born into privilege, others into struggle, but in the long run it isn't the starting point that matters. It is the mindset you carry into every battle. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same challenge, yet one will see it as an excuse to stop while the other will see it as a reason to fight harder. The difference isn't the obstacle, the difference is the mindset. Life is full of storms, setbacks, and disappointments, and if you allow circumstances to dictate your actions, then you will always be controlled by situations you cannot change. But when you develop the mindset of ownership, resilience, and determination, you turn every obstacle into fuel for growth. This is why the strongest people are not always the most talented or the most privileged. They are the ones who have trained their minds to rise above circumstances. They refuse to let pain define them, and instead they allow it to shape them into something stronger. Every setback becomes a setup for a greater comeback because they have conditioned their mindset to see possibilities where others see limitations. When you understand that your future is not written by your past but by the decisions you make today, you unlock a new level of power. Circumstances may explain where you are, but they never excuse where you stay. You cannot change where you started, but you can always choose where you finish. Your mindset is like the lens through which you see the world. If the lens is cloudy with negativity and excuses, everything will appear impossible. But if the lens is clear with determination and vision, you will see opportunities in every challenge. That is why developing a strong mindset is more valuable than any resource you could ever possess. With the right mindset, even limited resources can produce extraordinary results. Without it, unlimited resources will always be wasted. People often wait for the right conditions before they act, but the truth is that conditions rarely become perfect. Winners act despite their imperfections because their mindset tells them that progress matters more than perfection. So if you want results, stop waiting for your circumstances to improve and start working on your mindset. Feed your mind with discipline, focus, and positive belief until excuses no longer have power over you. Remind yourself every day that your thoughts are the architects of your reality, and your mindset is the foundation on which your results are built. Circumstances may be temporary, but your mindset can make them irrelevant. The question is not whether life will challenge you. It will. The question is whether your mindset will allow you to rise above those challenges or surrender to them. Choose to rise because your mindset, not your circumstances, will always define your success.